Hello.
Hi, Rizwan.
Hi, Shashi. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so very much. How are you?
All right. So let's start. I'm good. Thank you so much. So let's start the session. So hello, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful week. I am Rizwan Khan, a student recruitment consultant, Chalo Overseas, here with you today to discuss two important topics. The first one being how a desired profile looks for a science background, and also, how a desired profile looks for a management background, right? So to discuss this, here is my colleague Shashi. Hi, Shashi.
Hi, Rizwan.
Hi. Hi. All right. So I will be discussing how a desired profile looks for a science background. So let us go. All right. So number one is IELTS. So IELTS 6.0 in all modules, speaking, listening, writing, and reading. Right. So if you have a IELTS score of 6.0 in all modules, that means that you have a very good score of applying abroad, right? So when you want to study abroad, universities and colleges would have different requirements, but 6.0 would remain always a constant, and it is a very good scores, when we compare to other profiles or any other thing. So first thing is IELTS score, and if you have IELTS score of above 6, like 6.5 or 7.5, it's a value added to your profile. So that's a very good and very important point, IELTS score, if you're applying for the English speaking countries. So number two, grade point average, right? So grade point average ranging from 70% and above, it should always remember that you need to have 70% of the grade point average. That means, in the highest qualification, you will have to have at least a percentage of 70 and above. That's a very good, looking percentage when you want to apply for a science background program. So number three is you should have less than 5 backlogs, including reattempts. So let's say if you have 3 backlogs, and if you're attempting it twice, it means that you have 6 backlogs. It will be considered as 6 backlogs, right? Especially in Canada. In Canada, the system is, very common that the reattempts would be also considered as your backlogs. So always keep in mind less than 5 backlogs in your highest qualification, including reattempts, because most of the high universities, very good universities, consider this point as a very important. All right. So number four is letter of recommendation. So LORs, at least you should have 3 LORs. It can be from your employer, and also it can be from the academics, like your principal or your lecturer or any one of them, right? Letter of recommendation is they recommending you to go, they're recommending you to join the university or a college for higher studies and everything, right? So that's a very, very, very important thing when you want to apply abroad, right? They ask for at least 3 LORs, and if you have 5, then that's a very good add-on to your profile. So number 5 is uh, this is a very, very important thing. So first thing is you should always, look into the program requirements. When you are applying abroad, you should always look into the program requirements, because it might ask for a GRE or a GMAT score, right? So first compile with those things. GRE is very important and GMAT is also very important. It depends on the university. Some might exempt it, some might have it as a mandatory thing. All right. So always keep a look onto the requirements, and that's a very good add-on to your profile. If you have a GRE or GMAT, that's a very good add-on. And number 6 is having a valid passport. From the country of your citizenship, you should have a passport. If you're coming from India, you should have a valid passport from India, attaching it to your application, because that's a very, that's the identity document of yours, right? So without any crops, without any cuts, the passport should be there, and you should scan it very, very clearly, and you should attach it with your profile. So that's very, very important to keep in mind. And number 7 is the study gap. If you have completed, let's say, so if I have completed my studies in 2017 and if I'm applying to a university in 2022, so you should have at max to max the study gap of 5 years, including the experience. That means you know your study gap should be less than 5 years, and if you have experience in that relating field, that would be a very good add-on to it. All right. So very, very important to keep in mind that most of the top universities and colleges ask for the study gap requirement. So, they prefer less than 5 years of study gap, including the experience. So number 8, clear scanned copies of the transcripts. The transcripts, semester by semester transcripts, and the CMM, and the completion certificate. So it should be arranged in this chronological order, so that it's very easy for the university people to look into your transcripts, and it gives them a clarity on it, right? It gives the clarity on what you have studied. So that's very important. And the last one is the work experience relating to the field that you're applying to, right? So if I am choosing a cybersecurity program, then if I have an experience of at least 2 or 3 years in the cybersecurity program, work experience, then that will add on to my profile. It is like a very good add-on to your profile. It looks like your profile is very, very strong in case, right? So these are the very important things. And if you're applying to US, right? So there are additional requirements that you need to comply to. So the first thing is bank statement. So at least 2 years of tuition fee, you should show it in the bank statement, and you should submit it to the college whenever you're applying for the university or a college there, when you're applying to study abroad. And the next one is financial declaration form. So if you're applying to any school or college, they will issue a financial declaration form from the university. So you'll have to get it signed from the sponsor, and you should mention how much who is going to support your studies abroad, right? And the next one is affidavit of support. So from your financial sponsor, so take your father or your brother or your sister is going to support you while you're studying abroad. So it needs to be on a stamp paper, and it needs to be notarized. So these are the 3 documents additionally if you want to apply to USA. So this is it. So these are the very, very important points that you need to keep in mind while you're applying for a science background program when you start to study abroad. So the next one, over to you, Shashi.
Thank you so very much, Rizwan. That is very well explained. And hello, everyone. And as you all know, not really much difference from what Rizwan said, just a few more points to add on. MBA abroad is the most sought after degree anywhere in the world, in the whole world, and it opens up tons of opportunities globally, and it gives you plenty of opportunities in your career. And how does the MBA profile look like? Pretty much like what Rizwan explained. You need to have a good GPA or a grade point average. Anything over 65% would certainly be a plus. So the higher the percentage, the better it is. And IELTS score would definitely be a requirement. That is just a language test, but then ensure that you have a good score, like in listening, reading, speaking, and writing. A minimum of 6 band would be ideal. And the other thing is like backlogs. Backlogs is like important to few countries, I would say. Ensure that you do not have more than 6 backlogs throughout, including reattempts that at least will get you into a good universities, and have a good GRE or GMAT profile. So as Rizwan explained to you, check into the university requirement, check what is required, what is a good ideal score that is required for the university. So that would also be a requirement. And figure out what is the unique selling point. What is your unique selling point when you go abroad? So that's actually equally important. So what do you have to offer to the university? As much as possible, have it very engaging. Tell about your story, tell about like why you've chosen a program, why the particular university, why the particular country, and so on. So have an excellent SOP to sell yourself for the particular program, and work on your resume. For an MBA, resume is also equally important. So ensure that you show chronologically like what you've studied, your work experience, your volunteer experience, the projects that you have done, the extracurricular activities, put it out there all so that the admissions officer would know what you have done. And your brilliance in all this would kind of, reflect in getting an admission. And letter of recommendation is equally important, as Rizwan said. So how should it be? So 2 recommendation from your professors from where you have studied and recent to your undergraduation, everything works. And 1 certainly from your employer would be certainly an asset. So ensure that you have work experience, and also 1 recommendation from your current employer. And also ensure that the study gap is not more. So that's very important to kind of, maintain. Work experience, folks, especially for a management program, is definitely desirable and considered as an asset. So these are some general guidelines for you to get a management admission. And if you're aiming at top league universities, you need to really also apply very well in advance. I would say at least 1 year in advance to start with would be a good time. So it's not like you, as soon as you apply for admission, you would get an admission. So it's not like that. University would take also a longer time. So plan ahead. So that is something that to keep in mind. Well, how do you boost your MBA profile? What are the ways to make it look much better, right? So these are some general guidelines I gave, but what are some of the things that you could make it better? 1 is prepare and ace the GMAT. The higher the score, the better it is, not just for admission, folks, it's also for your visa. Ensure you've got a solid rocking GMAT score. So that could help you out. And throughout your studies, you might have demonstrated leadership qualities. So ensure that that comes across either in a statement of purpose or work experience or in a letter of recommendation. That would add certainly value. Leadership skills is something that, most of the university people would look into. And also show what you've done, like especially when it comes to projects. What have you done? And do not shy away from showing challenging projects that you have done. So all this will demonstrate to the admission officer that you have done all the right things to get into a MBA program. And another important thing I would also say is take certification courses aligned with your career goals. Because sometimes we just focus only on the academic, we just want to finish our degree, but any added certification might help. Like, getting, any certification, management certification in addition to your regular course would help. And take up volunteer experience, go that extra mile. Volunteer experience will certainly add to your application. So ensure that if you're volunteered, or if not volunteered, think about it, but that would be a good step. And last but not the least, I think one of the key requirement is the negotiating skill. So where would you use this? You would perhaps use this during your interview. Sometimes the admission officer, especially from a high-ranked university, would also want to have an interview over Zoom meeting. So also to ensure that you are the person that applied and you've got the skills that you say that you have, and then it's a conversation to know you better. So the last but 1 point before you get an admission would also be to have an interview with you. So be prepared for that as well. So these are some of the things to think about it. And yeah, as I said, one of the key requirements is start your process in advance. And again, going unsaid, we are there to help you out. Over to you, Rizwan. Can't hear you, Rizwan. I don't know if it's on mute.
Yeah, thank you so much, Shashi. Thank you so much for giving those insights, and I hope our audience also, made note of it. So thank you so much for joining us. So these are the couple of things that we wanted to discuss in today's Instagram live session. Hope this was informative, right? So next week we are coming up with one more interesting topic, that is stages of applying to study abroad, USA and Canadian edition. So join us sharp at 7 p.m. next Friday to know more about it. And also you can book a free counseling session with us. You can, you can navigate to our bio, and from there you can book a free one-on-one counseling session with us. And thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Shashi. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so very much, Rizwan. Yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. See you next week. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Shashi. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care and see you next week, sharp 7 p.m. Friday. Thank you so much.
Bye.